There it is. Good morning, everybody. Jim Adkins here from Jim Adkins Results Coaching. Today's topic, I thought we'd talk a little bit about one of my, and I put old habits. And what I mean by old is it has existed for a long time. I've tried to get rid of it and change it, but every once in a while it creeps back in. And to see if you share the same potential stumbling block. So over the last few weeks, we've discussed some words of wisdom. I've used Gandhi, I've used Van Gogh, I've used a lot of different philosophers to intrigue your brain a little bit. We did a workshop on Friday and Sunday, brain versus mind ideas, and that's just a piece of the workshop. The workshop will continue next Friday, so that you can pick up where I'm at. And then what I noticed was through the week, a few of my clients, a few of my students, a few of my relatives, and including myself. And what I mean by what I notice is when something intrigues me, I generally pay really close attention. How's that lighting look for you guys? I usually pay really close attention to what's taking place in my life as well. And what I mean by that, well, that just got dark, didn't it? This is the lighting I want for my martial arts stuff, and it won't happen. Now it's happening to you guys. Anyway, let's go back to what I was talking about. I really start to pay attention to what's taking place around me and what's going on in the lives of others. And with the reticular activating system, it's intriguing because whatever I'm focused on, that's what I'm going to notice, right? So today's topic was show up. Do you show up? And it's a great question because what I see at times and what I have experienced in my own life is excuses. And excuses become reasons, and reasons become stumbling blocks for your own success. And it can be little things or it can be big holy crap things, right? Let's just say you have a goal to eat better. And I know I pick on food a lot. It's one of my stumbling blocks, but I know that a lot of people are interested in eating better and becoming healthy, so I choose that. It's easy to relate to, right? So you want to eat better. And what does better mean? Well, you sit down and you define what better means. You find out from an expert what's better for you. And trust me, it's not extremely different, but it is different for everybody. And you've defined that and you start deciding you're going to eat better. Well, then Halloween shows up. And well, there's candy everywhere, right? We can have a piece of candy. I'm just going to eat one. Or I'm going to buy the candy a week before Halloween, but I'm not going to eat any of it on the day before you need to buy more. What causes you to slip and allow that to take place? Well, you make excuses. And if you're good at convincing yourself, if you're good at using words, or you're good at relating reasons why as to oppose the reasons for, you can convince yourself that 1, 2, or 10 Reese's peanut butter cups are okay, right? And they're peanut butter, right? That's protein. And we stumble. And that, in my opinion, is not showing up. Or it falls into the category of how you show up. Let's talk about something different. In life, there are things that you want to achieve. Or here's a really good one. I have a client, and they don't mind me sharing this. We've discussed this before. I won't say their names, but they're trying to quit an addiction. And when I say trying is because they haven't decided to give it up yet. They know this, and I pick at them every time I see them. You have to make the decision that it's over before it's over. You can't just try to let it go. You have to do it. Make sense? So anyway, this person is trying to let go of their addiction, and they're really good at making excuses on why it continues. And they show up everywhere. Let me explain. In this addiction, it's a very social addiction. A lot of people have this addiction. And There are excuses that everyone who shares this addiction share in common. I only do this when I'm with other people. I only do this when, well, let's just say it's drinking and smoking. Okay, it's easier for me not to try and dance around it. They're a social drinker or a social smoker, or it only happens after dinner time, or it only happens, on my lunch break or at work when I take a break. Um, so those are excuses that have put them in situations that when they do show up, it takes place. If they didn't go out socially, could they refrain from drinking or smoking? Well, if they've convinced themselves that they're a social drinker and a social smoker, it'll do one, either allow them to stop, or two, teach them that their excuse was not a valid reason. You follow me? But that's an example of showing up physically. So let's discuss all the ways to show up. Okay. Good morning, Cindy. Morning, Richard. When you show up for your life, when you show up for your kids, when you show up for an event, church, when you show up for a meeting, those are physical ways of showing up. When you show up for your life, I started with that one. It's physical, but it's also philosophical. It's also mental and spiritual. So let's discuss that one real quick. What's your life about? And if you haven't sat down and picked out some goals or decided what it is you're trying to do with your life, now might be a good time to do that, right? Let's get there before the end of the year. Let's get there before all of the other people make New Year's resolutions. Let's take the best ones for ourselves first before they're all gone. And then show up. I want to be more financially abundant. Well, if you think it, it's a dream. If you speak it and do nothing, it's a wish. If you speak it and put it into plan and action, it becomes powerful. So you've got to show up. You have to show up. Now let's talk about how you show up. Do you show up wholeheartedly, or do you show up wishfully thinking? Today I wish that I could find a bag of money, or today I wish that I could find that new job. And then you sit on your butt and hope that somebody brings it to you. Or you decide that it's too much hard work to get up and put effort into what it is that I want. Maybe I'll settle for something less. That's how you show up. Does that make sense? Well, that's one of my oldest issues. I make good excuses, and I'm intellectually, let's see, how can I do this? I am a professional reframer. So in my business, it's good that lots of people know what I'm doing. Why? Because a lot of people don't have a clue what I do. even my friends and the people that know me fairly well, ask them what I do, and ask them how I make money. How do you think I make a living? And they don't know. And even when they do know, they don't fully understand it totally. So for me, as a coach, it's important for me to get out and let people know what I'm doing. It's important for me to get on here and share with people what it is I do. For me, as a martial artist, which is another way I make a living for 40 plus years now, it becomes a situation of braggart. It becomes less than humble to tell people what you do or how good you are. So for me, it's always been show people, because your life is truly your message. When you show up and you build a life, and you create and you do things rather than speak. Listen, as a teacher and a coach, 90% of what I do is verbal, but not in the sense of telling people how good I am. So I am really good at not showing up. People ask me to write biographies. I try to sit down and do that. It's like I feel like I'm bragging, and I stop, and it never gets done. I've had other people write my bio and hand it to me, and I've convinced myself that that's not a humble thing either, and nixed it. So, how you show up and why you show up, for me, this is my weakness. One of my weaknesses um, becomes a reframe of convincing yourself that I wrote this down because I liked it. Things that matter most should never be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Let me say that again. Things that matter most should never be at the mercy of things that matter least. So when you decide that what it is you're after, or what it is you do, or who you are as a person matters more than the little things that you put in your way, it's easy to show up. I hope that makes sense. Just a simple thought I had today, something that I've noticed people struggling with and that I struggle with at times too. I'll give you an example of me real quick. Good morning, Mr. Voikel. I'll give you an example. I have issues on here with videos. I'm not the greatest yet at editing or creating videos. It's easier for me just to go live, run them, and be sincere and go for it, and then put them out there. And even then, if you haven't noticed, this weekend we had some major glitches releasing some of the martial arts videos. I released the 3 new videos: the Kempo self-defense, or Kempo knife, Kempo firearms, and Kempo Chin-Na Jiu-Jitsu videos, and one made it. And when I say one, there's actually 8 different videos in the one video, and that's true for all 3 of them. There are several little videos in there, and I can't tell you why. Well, I could have spent the whole day trying to figure it out, but I reframed an excuse and I didn't show up for work. Why? It was more important for me to spend time with Sarah. That's a truth, though. At least it is in my world. I now have extra work today with those videos because I didn't show up on my day off to fix what was taking place. So you tell me, is that not showing up or showing up? The things that matter most should never be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Well, when everything in your life matters the most, it's time to have a list of where you're headed, what you're doing, and what's important to you, right? Okay, you can help me with that one if you want. Let's see what Mr. Murray says. Just what I needed to hear today. I've put roadblocks and excuses in my way for the last couple of weeks. New day showing up. Perfect. See, when I get on here and I start to talk, sometimes I don't know exactly why I chose what I'm going to talk about, but that makes it all worthwhile. When I hear from you that, yeah, this is what I needed, that makes it all worthwhile. And you're absolutely right, Mr. Murray. Let me tell you this. It's November 4th. I think what's going to happen next morning is the video, the workshop that's coming up. I'm still going to continue the workshop on the brain and the mind because that is intriguing. If you've ever looked into the neurosciences of how we function and how we don't function up here, come tune in with me on Friday and Sunday, by the way, which is another one of the video glitches. But Friday, Sunday, look at the workshops. The next one's going to be on, it's going to be tomorrow. Finish your year strong. Finish it strong. It's November 4th. You've got November, December, and then we're in 2020. Can you believe it? 2020. And hindsight is 2020. I don't want you headed into the year of 2020 looking back and focusing on your failures. I want you to finish strong. And this is going to be tomorrow's video. I can feel it right now. I'm going to write it down. If I change my mind, that's up to me. But tomorrow's going to be about how to finish strong. I'm going to give you 5. Can I come up with 5? I got them. I'm going to give you 5 steps on how to finish the year successfully. 5 steps on how to finish this year successfully. It's going to be tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow and do me a favor tomorrow. Show up. Okay, do that today. Show up today, and don't forget how you show up is just as important. If you show up physically drained or emotionally strained or just out of whack, you really are not doing yourself any service. When you show up, I want you to show up with enthusiasm, with fire, with love, with passion, and how about imagination? Show up with some imagination. Morning, Mr. Motley. Um, let's get it, guys. Let's get it going. And tomorrow, 5 steps on how to finish the year successful, powerful. That's going to be good. I'm going to write this down right now. All right, guys. Um, I love you. That's good. That's a good morning. Richard, Cindy, Mr. Volwinkle, and Mr. Motley. Have a great day. And you guys that are tuning in later, have a great day too. And my condolences go out to my Arizona families who some people in Arizona lost their mom today, or not today, but last week. And it was a rough weekend. Just know that we love you guys, okay? And we're here for you. So, all right, on your mark, get set, subscribe, like, hit the thumbs up, share. Do that for me, okay? All right, on your mark, get set, grow.